Hello and welcome back. So, today I wanted to do another review type thing. This will be a little bit different though. I'm actually wanting to review a TV show I just finished watching. I'm a big fan of Netflix and I am a big fan of Korean dramas, and Netflix has lots and lots of them. So, my most recent pleasure that I've been watching on Netflix is called Cheese in the Trap, and it was fabulous. And I'm sad that it ended and only had 16 episodes, even though they were all like an hour long. So that makes for actually really quite a lot of content, more so than a lot of American shows, I feel like. But maybe there are hour long ones and I just don't watch American TV anymore. I don't know. Anyways, so part of why I wanted to do this review is I was just driving in the car and I heard a couple songs that reminded me of Cheese in the Trap. So I wanted to kind of talk about those in reference to Cheese in the Trap, as well as just some of my general thoughts on Cheese in the Trap, because it was just such a unique story experience in general, which is actually part of why I like Korean dramas to begin with, and just foreign film in general. I feel like the storytelling is really different from American storytelling, so it's very refreshing for me to jump into like a nice Korean drama, to watch some anime, to watch German, French films, whatever. I love going foreign with my entertainment because their storytelling feels so different to me. Anyways, in the case of A Cheese in the Trap, the general premise of the story is that you've got a girl and a guy, woo, and originally they don't really get along. Guy seems like he's kind of picking on girl, like he maybe even kind of hates her and is mad at her for some unexplained reason. And then over time, these two actually end up having a romance, and it sounds typical, but the way it was done was super not typical at all. In part, our male character, who is this love interest, he's got that kind of attitude that it made it seem like he was mad at her. He was kind of mad at her and didn't like her at the beginning, just in general, but he's also just got kind of a colder demeanor in general. He was raised kind of to not show his emotions, and he's very much a revenge is best served cold kind of person. He's cold and calculating when people upset him. He doesn't show that he's upset. Instead, he goes through all these big plans to get his revenge on them, kind of a thing. And so it was just a really unique character concept that I'd never seen done before, and that he ended up being so affectionate for your lead lady, and that then some of the like revenge style things that he's doing are because people are being rude to her or causing problems in her life, and the things that he does, not even telling her that he's doing them, but arranging these other people's lives as like a revenge against them for what they did to his girl, is really charming is probably not the right word, because it is like a revenge thing and you probably should still not treat people like that. But it has a weird sort of charm to it, that it's like that he's willing to do these things for her because he starts to care about her so much and wants to treat her well, even if he can't manage to treat other people very well. And oh, it's just so well done. I love it. I don't want to spoil too much within like the different plots that are going on in that sense. But in order to talk about the songs that, as I said, made me want to do a review type thing for this anyways, because they were making me think of those AMV videos on YouTube where you've got like your TV show and you've got some music playing and clips from the TV show that go with the music. I want to do that with this TV show, with these songs, but I do not have the computer skills or the video equipment to do so. So this is my way of doing that, I guess. But it will lead to major spoilers, especially for the one song, because it directly involves the very last episode of the series. So let's hop into it. So the first song that I want to talk about is a little more general. If you've heard the song Broken by Lovely the Band, that's the one I'm thinking of in this case for this first bit. Particularly the chorus of this song, where it's like, I love that you're broken, broken like me. And then I like that you're lonely, lonely like me. I could be lonely with you. Not that our female character, our female lead in Cheese in the Trap is super antisocial or anything. She has her own social issues, but not to the same degree as our male protagonist. But they both don't have like a wide circle of friends. They have like one or two close friends. That's it. Kind of personality for both of them. So I feel like that's very fitting for them. They both have their ways that they're broken. They both have their loneliness that they're trying to overcome, and they miraculously find in each other this person who completes them and fills that brokenness and that loneliness that they didn't think would be possible with that person, for one thing, but that does so much more for them than the other relationships in their life. And it's just beautiful. I can't help it. I just love these two together. And I'm so glad that it went the route that it did to get them to like each other. I will say, jumping back away from the songs and just to the general plot of Cheese in the Trap again, with his like revenge mindedness that he's kind of got, our female lead sees some of that conniving when she very first meets him, and so she's suspicious of him, thinks he's kind of a bad person, and doesn't really trust him at the start. And so me watching it feel the same way. I'm like going through this same like course over feelings of him that she has. It was just done so well that you feel like you're on this same character journey to find out that, oh, he does kind of have this weird side to him, but he's actually got these really nice affectionate things about him, and that he actually can be trusted if you get to be friends with him, kind of a thing. And anyways, it was a great journey. I'm glad that they took me on it, and I'm glad it turned out the way it did. So yeah, and I mean, I just feel like it's so well done if you feel like you're going through the same journey that the character went through, and that it's not like foreshadowed the whole time that this is what it's going to be, especially based on the description on Netflix, which basically is like, girl meets guy has dark side. You know, it kind of makes it sound like, oh, this is going to be like a horror or a suspense one. It doesn't really hint that it's going to be like a real romance. And so to be able to go on that journey, it just felt like so well done to be like, oh my gosh, this actually turned into a romance, and you can understand where it started from and why she felt the way she did at the start and how she got to the point where she is, where she's in a romance with him. And anyway, it's just great. I love it. I recommend it. So then on to the second song that I want to talk about in regards to Cheese in the Trap, and kind of like the music video style thing that I would do with it. This one, again, is major spoilers for the last episode of the series. So if you want to watch the series based on anything that I've said about it, I would recommend going and watching the series before finishing this part, because it's very spoilery, and it kind of has to be for how the song is going to relate to that last episode. Okay, so second song that really made me think of this TV show is Someone You Loved by Lewis Capaldi? I forget what his last name is, but if you've heard that song on the radio, that's the other one that I want to talk about. So, in regards to what happens at the very end of the series, our lead character gets into a car accident and is in the hospital, and it is in part our male protagonist's fault because of how he was treating someone else, and one of his revenge plot things went a little awry and had some ripple effects that ended up with our female lead getting in this car accident. So he feels really guilty about it and starts doing some really deep introspection while she's in the hospital healing up. He doesn't even actually visit her once she's conscious in the hospital because he's feeling so bad and needing to refocus and realign himself and all of that. And then when he finally does visit her, once she's out of the hospital, he says, I think we need to break up. I need to figure out who I am, basically. If I really am this cold, vengeful person, or if there's someone else beyond that. And you've got like maybe a half hour left of the episode when this happens. And I was just like, no, don't end it this way. You've had this great romance. Don't ruin this. I was so invested in this for 16 episodes and you can't break up now. And so this relates to that song, Someone You Loved, because I feel like Someone You Loved is the exact feelings that our female lead then has, because she doesn't want to break up with this boy. She still loves him. She's willing to forgive him for his faults, and that it was kind of his fault that she got in the car accident. But he's like, I don't want you to always be shouldering these burdens and having to deal with me having these issues. I want to figure myself out, see if I can go beyond these issues, and then I'll come back when I'm confident that I can love you, because right now I'm not confident that I can actually love you. Oh. And so in Someone You Loved, that at least is the gist that I get from those lyrics, that it's like, we were in such a good place, we were so happy, I was getting so used to being this person that you loved, that we were in a relationship with, that was really great, and then, you break up, and that's kind of the end. And so I feel like that song just really pinned the nail on the head for how I was feeling, especially watching that last episode and getting to that point where he's like, I'm going to break up with you. And you're like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. But it leaves it mildly abstract. But at the very, very end, fortunately, it does seem like they get back together, because it jumps 3 years in the future. Our female lead has kind of moved on. She's out of school now. She's got a job, all that kind of thing. She kind of sends the male lead some emails once in a while like, hey, let's catch up. It's been a while. And he hasn't responded to any of them. And then the very last thing that happens in the episode is she's walking out of her bedroom and she gets an email from him. So it's mildly ambiguous if they officially get back together and have romance and whatever. But I mean, happy ending is implied by this, right? Right? No, so yeah, so I'm glad it turned out that way, and not just like the Someone You Loved song, that it's not just like, we had this great thing, I was loving being someone you loved, and now we're not. But I did very much get that vibe from that episode until we finally get them back together, basically. So, but yeah, so now that I've rambled on for a few minutes, that's my thoughts about Cheese in the Trap. Again, I highly recommend it. It was a super fun one to watch. I loved going on a very different journey, especially for a romance. I love just the concept that they went for, the different social problems both our main characters have, especially the male. I've never seen a lead in a story told that way, and it was just so unique from a writing perspective that I really loved it, and it was a great concept. I loved her supporting him through all the things, even as she's finding out about some of these revenge plots going on, and her being willing to look past them and be like, you know what, I've fallen for you, I still care about you, I know a lot of why these vengeance plots are going on is because of me and because you care about me, and this is your way of showing it, so let's stay together. It's just such a unique romance that I highly recommend it, especially if you're sick of American rom-coms. A, this is not really a comedy, but B, the romance in it is done so different from any American story that I've ever seen, and probably that you've ever seen. So if you like romance but are sick of the American style of it, try out Cheese in the Trap. That's my recommendation. Anyways, I've babbled on for almost 15 minutes about this, and I think that's probably the majority of my thoughts about it for right now. So hopefully all of you will go and watch Cheese in the Trap now and have a grand old time with it just like I did. Let me know down in the comments if you end up watching it and if you like it and who your favorite character is. But yeah, I think that's all for now. So happy Korean drama watching, hopefully. And this is the Umlaut Herper signing out.